And welcome back to Otaku no Video. As always, thank you for joining me. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the first 3 episodes of Durarara, which is a recent, actually just airing right now, anime series over there in Japan. It is a modern, urban, quasi-little fantasy series at this point. Now, I've only gotten through episode 3, as I mentioned. This is an anime by the same folks who made Baccano, which if you've seen Baccano like I have, you know why I was first in line to watch Durarara. There's a fundamental problem there, though. But much like Baccano, this focuses on a number of different characters, all kind of in the same boat. Although in this case, it's a set of modern urban teenagers and young adults in Ikebukuro in Tokyo, which is a sort of a burg of Tokyo, but I say New York. Now, this makes a very interesting sort of twist. Instead of having characters who are unable to escape a train, in the case of Baccano, you have folks who live in this area. So there's some danger endangering the citizens there. This is their, they can't escape. So it gives it that kind of a feel. Now, you don't have the extreme range of characters you got in Baccano, where you got folks who are almost like Marvel characters in the sense of very distinctive personalities. And that's part of the charm, I think, of Durarara. Durarara is a little more realistic. It's a little more everyday. It's a little more easier to relate to as a result. Unfortunately, I'm 3 episodes in, and I'm still not grabbed by anything, really. There have been some unusual, some surprises, but it's still setting everything up. It's a 12-episode TV series. I'm 3 episodes in. They've already spent a quarter of their time, and I still don't feel like I'm pulled in yet. That's not a good sign. Now, as I mentioned, it has a fairly large cast, and you have more realistic relationships here, if you will. Folks are friends or not friends, kind of trying to break down those boundaries, if you will, and trying to get to know each other. So one of the interesting things here is that because there's no major crisis in the story yet, you don't get folks who are sort of thrown together and have to get to know each other. So right now the characters are fairly fairly apart. It looks much like Baccano, although I think it has a lower animation budget. The fantasy element here, without getting anything away, is that there's this sort of headless horseman style character, a god of death type thing. Any of you familiar with Boogie Pop will be very familiar with the kind of thing they're going for here. It's actually based on an actual Irish myth, a legendary creature like the Banshee that the Irish had, and just transposed into modern times, but made, again, sort of more real. Like I mentioned, it looks kind of like Baccano, somewhat, I don't want to say flat, but very straightforward, very clean, very clear character designs and animation in general. Not too much action, so hard to judge the action sequences here. As with before, the direction is very effective, not surprising, but there's this muted aspect to it. It's got this sort of muted, kind of like the Pat Labor movies, if you've seen those. This kind of like what Mamoru Oshii does, where you have this muted palette. It's more everyday conversation kind of a story. But Oshii gets into sort of weird cinematography stuff that this show hasn't gotten into yet. Voice work, as with Baccano, top notch, no problems there. I am concerned though with just the overall character mix and writing, and just the fact that I don't really have anyone to root for yet. I don't really have any strong villains yet. I don't know what's going on, and nothing seems to be going on. There are mysteries, and there's stuff going on, but nothing that really grabs me, like I mentioned. So that's a bit of a concern. I'm sure it'll get better, but it's still it's weird. So overall, it's not like I hated Durarara. It was intriguing as I watched it, and it made no mistakes. It also helped that episode 3 is basically an homage to Lane, Serial Experiments Lane. But like, it just hasn't grabbed me 3 episodes in out of 12. So here's hoping it gets better. I'm probably not going to spend a lot of time on Durarara at this point. I may just wait till it gets licensed and watch. I think this is the kind of show that will be better if you just watch it in large chunks. So we'll see. But definitely interesting, and I don't want to turn anyone off from it. I think I just am limited in time, so I'm not anxious to get through this. But if you want to try it out, it's definitely different, and I'm very glad that someone is trying this kind of urban, mild fantasy kind of a story. It's different, and I like different, and anime needs different. So good on them for trying, and here's hoping that it'll pick up soon.